Howdy folks, welcome to a wonderful, absolutely wonderful 85-degree day here in Vernonia, Oregon. So, as you can see, I have my steering links in. I got them welded up this past Saturday at my friend's place, friend Scott. I did a pretty good job welding these up, and I spent probably a couple hours drilling out this pitman arm. Doing that on the drill press was still a challenge. Material's pretty hard, so it took quite a bit, but I got it done. So anyways, I put these up in here because I wanted to try it out, see how it drives, make sure they work, make sure the bolts don't break while I'm going down the road. Now I'm at a point where I'm going to take these off because I actually want to clean up the ends where these the washers and the spacers meet the knuckle. I want these perfectly flat. And then I'm going to clean these up, paint them. The welds aren't too bad. I'm not even going to bother grinding them down. He did pretty good on them. We didn't do Instagram welds. I just wanted them to be fairly strong. We did a rosette weld. So there's 4 holes, and then where the piece goes into the tube, we welded where I had drilled. So the tube is captured on the end, or the threaded bung is grabbed by the inside of the tube as well as the very end here. So that should not break. But anyways, I got it up in here. On the last video, I was gonna run it a different way. I was gonna have the tie rod on top. Well, I'm gonna go over why it's not gonna work for me. You can see that I have my tie rod end goes to the bottom of the pitman arm, and this rod end is sitting on top of the knuckle, and then we have tie rod end sitting right here. This is how Rough Stuff wants you to run it if you're not going to do a double shear. And a double shear would be if I had this stacked on top like I did in the last video. What you would want is, if you got your stack starts on top of the knuckle, you want a plate on top here that attaches to the knuckle and sandwiches all that together. That would give you a double shear, and that would work for me. But in that setup, I can't run that setup just yet, because right now I'm not going to spend the money to get new knuckles and whatnot. So what I've opted to do is just keep it easy, go the way Rough Stuff recommends that you run it, and that is to do it like this: tie rod on top, or drag link on top of the knuckle, and toe link on the bottom. And that's just how we're gonna do it for right now. The cool thing is, at any time when I decide to change it, I can change it. I can move this up top on the pitman arm there. I'm probably not going to run that washer up there because I can see that it's not perfectly flat, so I might omit that one. I don't think we'll really need it. Probably don't need the washers at all, but I have them on there anyways. The other thing that's cool about doing it this way, putting this link down here, the drag link on top of the knuckle, does a couple of different things for me. One, it lengthens this rod, so now it's actually the same length as the track bar. I put this at 39.5 and then adjusted my steering wheel at the steering shaft. And also, like this, with the same adjustment, that pitman arm is actually perfectly parallel with the frame, so the amount of turns lock to lock are equal. And it seems like this tube just barely touches the pumpkin cover right when you hit full lock to the left. Full lock to the right, it doesn't touch nothing. So if I had everything up on top, this bar hits this, so this would have to be changed a little bit. and it also hits the pumpkin as well, a little bit more than down below. So I'm fine with this. I've already driven it a little bit, and dude, this has gotten rid of almost all of my bump steer. In fact, pretty much most of it is gone. There's going to be just a tiny bit just because it's a solid axle and stuff's moving, you know. And my track bar and drag link are not 100% parallel with each other. They're just a little offline, but they're the same length. And I can tell just going down the highway, when we got parts of the road that kind of do stuff like that, it drives so good now. I'm really happy with it. Well, anyways, what we're gonna do, we're gonna take these links back off. We're gonna flap our disc, all this, just clean off any high spots. I might take a stone and just stone it so that I know that it's perfectly flat. And then we're gonna put these back on. I've got lock nuts that we're gonna put on here, and we're gonna torque this down to I'll probably do 150. Supposedly a 3/8 grade 8 bolt coarse thread needs a torque of like 282 or something like that. I think that's a little too high. I think we can go like 150, maybe do 180. See if we'll snap it. I don't think we will, but we'll torque it down. Yeah. So let's get started. Okay, links are all painted up. Kind of did that off camera. Yeah, I'm gonna let those set up. Luckily it's nice and warm out, so it should dry pretty quick. After that, we'll put them back on. So here's that picture I was telling you about. We've got a wider heim, which is, or excuse me, the safety misalignment, which is the wider one, goes on top of the heim. We have the standard misalignment, goes down below. And then, let's see, we had one for the pitman arm. So it's the standard misalignment goes up against the pitman arm, and the wider one goes down below. So we're gonna do it that way and see what happens. I think I'm gonna go ahead and put a washer on here to space this out just a tiny bit. It's gonna change our angle, but I wanna take a little bit less angle off the rod end here. Come down from like that. That lock nut, I sure feel a lot better having that lock nut on there. This can move around freely. I think we're gonna go, we'll do 150. See if it budges. If it doesn't, we'll go higher. Okay. I'm at 150. I'm gonna adjust-o. Adjust-o-matic. That's 150. I'll go 180 on it. And with that Loctite, I didn't even put the blue Loctite on there. I was thinking about putting on. I don't think we need it. There's 180. Just snaps. Oh, we're turning. Probably about to hit 180. Can't quite get that thing to click. I'm gonna call that good. I like to pull, I don't like pushing. There we go. Well, that's it. We're torqued up, we're painted. The only thing I didn't do, because I didn't want to mess with my measurements, was lube up the threads. So I'm probably going to regret that when I go to take it apart. But it's Oregon. We don't have salt on the road yet, but then again, we don't get a whole lot of snow, so not too worried about it. You know, there's always heat. So yeah, the angle on this, we'll see how that does long term. If we have issues where we're messing up those joints, we'll have to make another tow link or drag link and probably make it zigzag, or we can throw like a 2-inch drop pitman arm in. We can cut off the old track bar bracket, weld in a new one, and drop the track bar down one slot. Kind of regretting I trimmed that bracket in the first place. I was like, oh, I'm not gonna lift this thing, and here I am. So those are probably the two easiest options, because I would like to not have bends in my tube or my track bar. I'd like to have them just be straight solid pieces. So I'm gonna go take it for a drive. I'm gonna throw the GoPro under here on my mount and let you guys see the suspension work. And I kind of want to see how the links are working. I don't have any real means of articulating this stuff, and I don't have jacks tall enough to hold the frame up. If I had a lift, we could probably do it that way and let the suspension droop and see where we're at. So before this video ends, I'm making this. We're going to take this for a little test drive. But I've made some changes. I took the washers out. I put the big safety misalignments over here. Yeah, so we're good there. Normally you would have a standard right here and then a safety here. In this case we have both of those here. I did that because on the end of this drag link that goes down to the knuckle over here, I put both standard misalignments there to give me some extra travel. And then I put a large washer, grade 8 washer on top of that, so it's kind of my safety. So we should be good to go. One thing I did find, when you torque these bolts down, it does crush the misalignments a little bit. So you'll have a little bit of an issue getting that stuff off, but I was able to flip everything around, torque everything back down, and now we're ready for a little test drive here. I can't really move this mount around a little bit so you can't see over here, but you'll get to see everything else, you know, doing this. So let's go for a drive. So I pulled in to my driveway in a straight ahead position, and you can see my steering wheel is off just a tiny bit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move it over a little bit without adjusting the drag link, and I'll show you how I'm going to do that. So I have what's called a Borgeson steering shaft in this truck, and what's cool is while this is splined, it doesn't have that little slot on one side, so I can move my steering wheel any way I want. So I'll show you what we're going to do. I'll just do this 13 millimeter. Cracks that free. And I got the steering wheel unlocked, so I can move it over a couple of clicks, put her on. Let's see where our steering wheel's at. And honestly, I got it as straight as I think I'm gonna get it. So I'll put this back on. And the key is to get this set screw into the slot in the steering shaft. And then we'll jam that up. And then crank this down. Okay, that should be good. So now the drag link and track bar are the exact same length. And I've got this offset just a tiny bit to the right because I'm probably, when I actually start driving, it'll be a little more straight. So, you know, Ford things. So yeah, want the steering wheel, grab my wallet, wherever that is. So I've got a little bit more articulation out of that end now, which is fine. My friend's gonna borrow a tubing bender, and we're gonna try and bend this. I think we can bend it. I put the jack on this and gave it a little bit of tension, and it does bend a little bit. So of course I only let it spring. I didn't actually try and bend, you know, my toe length there, but so we might be able to bend it. So what I'm going to try and do is bend it somewhere right around here, and that should flatten that out a little bit. And then we might have to bend this end a little bit to keep this one flat. So we'll see what happens. Otherwise, this thing drives really nice. Now putting that back to, or getting rid of the washers and stuff, and putting the drag link closest to parallel with the track bar as possible, just drives so nice. Hardly any bump steer going down the road, so I'm happy. Anyways guys, that's gonna be it for this video. I'm not gonna be doing a whole lot more after this. If anything, I'll be doing some smaller stuff, but with it being kind of hot and my left arm is kind of an issue, and I think it's from a car accident I had a few years ago. I've got to go to the doctor and get it checked out. Hopefully I don't have to have surgery. I have a feeling I'm gonna have surgery done. And then I got dentist stuff coming up, so I'm not gonna be doing a whole lot. I'm gonna be on vacation. Gotta take care of myself, you know. And I'm kind of done spending money on this for right now. I think it's pretty much just about where I want it to be. Aside from a couple of things like putting the rear sway bar in, doing intercooling. That may be a winter project, don't know. But anyways, I gotta go. I'm gonna go back inside and chill off. It's about 63 degrees in my house where it's 100 outside, so yeah. Anyways, Thanks for watching. We'll catch you guys later.